Welcome to the video number 7 of the finmed Capacity Building Tool. I remind you that this online training is intended to complement and support the delivery of the Capacity Building Tool manual developed by the finmed project that you can download from the project website. During the previous video, we conclude the explanation of the setup phase related to the investment strategy. In this video, we are exploring and explaining the implementation phase related to project and portfolio structuring. The implementation phase seeks to identify and make investments into a suitable portfolio of projects. Investments should contribute to operational program objectives as well as achieving adequate financial returns. Projects and funds will need to be monitored and audited regularly in line with the financial regulations requirements of the European Commission. The most important aspects of the implementation phase are identifying projects for investment, monitoring and reporting. Let's have a look on how to proceed in order to identify projects for investments inside the financial instruments. Fund managers should actively build a pipeline of projects as soon as all investment agreements have been finalized. This process is perhaps the most time-intensive, and stakeholders should seek to identify possible project promoters at an early stage, even if projects are at the conceptual phase. Actually, projects that have high economical social impact are frequently not adequately structured to fulfill the requirements for investments via financial instruments. These projects often take a long time to become investment ready. Whilst fund managers can provide technical support to assist project promoters in financially structuring projects to make them suitable for investment, the earlier they are identified and informed of the requirements of financial instruments, the more likely they are to be ready when a fund manager initiates a call for projects. The aim of the call for project is to construct a portfolio of suitable projects for investments that meets EU regulations and are in line with the investment strategy. A call for projects will involve marketing the financial instruments to help stakeholders understand what eligible activities the financial instrument can invest in and how the investment can be made by loan, equity, quasi-equity, or guarantee. The aim is to engage potential project promoters to determine if the financial instruments can invest in their projects. Interested promoters then submit an expression of interest. The fund managers will gather the project information to produce an initial portfolio of projects potentially eligible for investment. These will then be reviewed to identify projects which may be eligible according to the relevant regulations and investment strategy. Once a list of eligible potential projects for investment has been identified according to the considerations just mentioned, to help determine which projects should be invested in, fund managers have to assess risk, the level of risk present within any given investment opportunity, returns, the potential financial return that opportunity offers, impact, the economic, social, and environmental outcomes resulting from the investment. To assess risk, returns, and impact, fund managers use different tools for financial modeling. Let's briefly see how it works. Financial modeling is the task of building an abstract representation, a model, of a real-world financial situation and assess the performance of a financial asset or portfolio of business, projects, or other investments. The financial models enable fund managers to understand the financial viability of potential investments as well as the risk-reward profile. Models help to understand the cash flow, revenues and costs, internal rate of return, the rate of return used in capital budgeting to measure and compare the profitability of investment, and the net present value, NPV, of an investment. NPV compares the value of a euro today to the value of that same euro in the future, taking inflation and returns into account. If the NPV of a prospective project were positive, it would normally be acceptable for investment. However, if NPV is negative, the project will likely be rejected because cash flows will also be negative. From the side of the project promoters, they must set up project business plans, setting out the purposes and nature of the project, the financing requirements, and how they will be delivered. These inform the development of a financial model and should include project detail, to assess the projects for strategic fit with the operational program and investment strategy. Delivery structure, to understand how the project will be delivered, the organizations involved in its delivery, and the governance and oversight mechanisms. Source and type of financing, to understand the scale of the investment sought from the financial instrument, the contributions from other funders, the timing of those investments, and the type of financial product most suitable to project needs. Revenue and costs, to understand the sources of revenue to repay investment and undertake an initial assessment of the risk associated with those sources. Repayment plan, to illustrate the position of the investment in financing the project and outline how that investment will be repaid alongside the other investors. Impact analysis of projects. Investments from financial instruments must deliver positive non-financial impacts alongside financial returns, in line with the investment strategy, economic, social, and environmental. As discussed earlier in the design phase, a common set of output indicators will be critical to measure non-financial impacts. These results indicators will be compulsory for all programs and priorities, in which the impacts will be evaluated against the broader objectives and targets of the Europe 2020 strategy. The proposition's business plans should set out what impacts they will achieve, how, and the mechanism by which this will be monitored and quantified. Projects should propose clear outputs as a result of the investment, which must be in line with the investment strategy set out by the fund managers. Project promoters, which have previously received ESIF grant funding, will be familiar with the need to quantify and monitor impact outputs. Others, who are more used to commercial financing, but whose project nevertheless achieve broader objectives, may require assistance in this area. Project and portfolio structuring. Financial instruments are designed to achieve both financial return on investment and broader impacts to society, the economy, and the environment. Assessing both the financial and non-financial aspects of projects in tandem can assist fund managers in achieving both of these objectives through viable investments, provided that the non-financial objectives are clearly articulated in the investment strategy. Furthermore, if project investments are considered as part of a portfolio investment approach rather than individually, this provides an opportunity to optimize the achievement of both financial and non-financial objectives across a portfolio. This may enable some projects with low financial returns but high non-financial returns to be funded, which may not otherwise be, because they could be combined as part of the portfolio with other projects which achieve higher financial returns. Fund managers are recommended to proactively structure their projects and portfolio to achieve the optimum balance of financial and non-financial outcomes from the onset of designing the financial instruments. Let's now have a look on some rules about monitoring and reporting. During the implementation phase, regular monitoring and reporting is required. This will also be a mid-term review to evaluate the performance of the financial instrument. Depending on the results of the evaluation, the financial instruments may need to be adjusted to reflect changes in the market. Additional funds may be contributed to meet unexpected market demand, or funds may be reduced if analysis suggested that the funds would not be able to invest the entire sum by the end of the period. At the end of the implementation period, all capital, including interest, should have been invested. Otherwise, it will need to be repaid. Managing authorities will report on all instruments under their responsibility, including financial instruments set up at national, regional, transnational, or cross-border level. Managing authorities shall submit to the Commission monitoring information on financial instruments as an integral part of the annual report on implementation of the program each year until and including 2023. And this is all for this 7th and last video of the finmed Capacity Building Tool. For more information about finmed project and its capacity building tool, please visit the project website, in which you can find much more information, documents, news, and also links to the Interreg-med program.